True knowledge is not found in facts and figures in scholarly books on library shelves. Gnosis points to the deep and timeless archetypal wisdom that rises from the felt experience of having touched the unknown with every one of the senses. Those who are drawn to Gnosis find themselves in esoteric studies, likely involving mysticism, alchemy, healing, or perhaps science. Knowing is their calling, not knowing is their job description. No matter how far the alchemists take their studies, they come to the ultimate conclusion that facts slip toward mystery, and soon the mystery results in facts. Here, Gnosis signifies a knowing that is life-changing. Once you experience it, you are forever changed and become a guardian of Gnosis. The eternal mystery is calling us. Study your passions in the deepest way available to you. Welcome, friends and family and long-lost loved ones. Today we are diving into, as we are every day, this beautiful cosmic mystery that is the human experience of the universe, and I will be your guide today. My name is Ava. If we have not met, or if you do not know that, now you know. And my intention today with you guys was to talk a little bit more about the divine feminine and the sanctity of what it is, of what that energy is. And so I pulled a couple cards for us in hope of accessing deeper knowledge, deeper wisdom, deeper understanding. And of course, from my first card, we get the divine masculine. I don't know if the divine masculine is energetically feeling lonely or left out, but I just thought it was so funny that, hey, Spirit, I'm here to see what it is that you want me to bring up today, what it is that we are investigating. And of course, the divine masculine comes out after knowing that I am speaking as well of the divine feminine. So this is beautiful. Of course, also, we'll get into it more. So I just want you to find a comfortable headspace, a comfortable brainwave, because we are definitely going to be diving deeply into the energies of the current. Let's go. We all want to be understood, to be acknowledged, to be loved. That is my yogi message from this yogi tea today. So now jumping into exactly what cards came out for us first. Again, this is my Sacred Geometry Activations Oracle. These cards are absolutely beautiful. They're colorful. They are geometric in shape, but they are also so ethereal. They exist in space. Their imagery is amorphous, but at the same time, again, it's like divine architecture, essentially. So the cards on the table for us here today are the Divine Masculine, card number 22, Allowance, card number 9, the Third Eye Chakra, card number 6, Cosmic Flower, card number 18, and the Heart Chakra, card number 4. Now, doing the math very quickly, again, this is a sacred geometry deck, right? And we are the I guess we live in a world of divine architecture, right? I said divine masculine number 22, and then at the end of the deck is the heart chakra number 4, 22, 2 plus 2 is 4, 4 at the end of the deck, right? Allowance was the next card after the divine masculine. The cosmic flower is the card before the heart chakra. So I have 5 cards out here, right? The card in the middle is card number 6. What a beautiful balancing number. The second card is card number 9. And the fourth card is 18. 1 plus 8 equals 9. So there seems to be this very clear balancing happening. 6 as well. is a number of balance. 6 is a number of harmony. So we have the numbers 4, 9, and 6. On top of that, we have this energy of allowance, and it's resonating somewhat with the energy of the heart chakra in color, in embodiment. So the heart chakra is what supports our capacity to love deeply and unconditionally, to love ourselves, to experience a greater, the knowledge of something greater than ourselves. And we have to think about the heart itself for a minute, about what has even manifested as this organ, right? Or this muscle. We know that the heart is the center of our circulatory system. You can function without certain aspects of your brain, without certain limbs. You can function even without certain organs. Maybe not, well, because we know what we're supposed to be made as, right? But you cannot live without the heart. The heart is the most important organ in the body, some might say. And of course, maybe some, doctors or whomever might disagree, and there could be a long, philosophical inquiry into whether that is truly the case. But your mother would not have been able to create you without a heart, without her heart. The heart is our center of electrical energy as well. Each of us, by nature of being alive, we generate an electrical pulse, an electromagnetic pulse. Everything that's alive does. And also on top of that, just by nature of being in a conductive universe, even things that don't necessarily have life are still generating, or at least resonating with electromagnetic energy, because that's just the nature of our universe, of our atomic universe. Everything is an electrical process, right? Or everything exists in process. And I won't nerd out too much on this. I spent a couple years studying nature in this manner. So it's a very nice, homey topic for me. But as it relates to what we're studying today, Spirit and the universe is bringing our attention to this concept as well of the cosmic flower. And the frequency of cosmic flower activates our remembrance of the place we call home, the core from which we pour our magnificence out into the world. And I love that term, magnificence, because of its relation to the word magnet or magnification. Now, here are just some scholarly facts and pieces of information. The term, or the word magnet, originates from the ancient Greek term magnes lithos, meaning stone from magnesia. Now, magnesia is late Middle English and refers to a mineral said to be an ingredient of the philosopher's stone, denoting a mineral from magnesia in Asia Minor. The current meaning of magnesia is magnesium oxide. You may have heard of the over-the-counter supplement or medication termed milk of magnesia. People use that to relieve heartburn or acid indigestion or even constipation, because it acts as a saline laxative, drawing water into the intestines, right, which helps soften the stool and can also neutralize stomach acids. Now, magnesium is a chemical element which is a fundamental, vital element that we need for the human body. We usually get it through our diet, like through leafy green vegetables, whole grains, dark chocolate, nuts and seeds, and other legumes. And it plays an essential function in regulating our nervous system, our muscles, and our heart as well. So, listen to this. Magnesium is a mineral gifted by the earth, found in soil, seawater, and stone. It's present in leafy greens, nuts, seeds, and spring water. food that naturally aligns us with Earth's chemistry. So when we're taking in magnesium, we are integrating a mineral that was formed inside ancient rocks or deep oceans, which is essentially grounding in the most elemental way, right? Guys, it all comes back to how you are integrating the energy of the earth, the energy and the chemistry of the earth into our own body. Without magnesium, our electrical wiring, you could say, would just kind of be thrown out of whack. Our bioelectrical signals could become erratic, which in a lot of people would manifest as anxiety, fatigue, an irregular heartbeat, or even a hypersensitivity to stimulation. Magnesium is definitely suggested for people who are looking for faster recovery as it recharges your cells. So if you're somebody who goes to the gym or even is experiencing these symptoms of anxiety and overstimulation, or you're chronically fatigued, you just don't have that well-supported energy balance or homeostasis, magnesium is going to help you reground and improve your energy, improve this circuit within your body. This circuit that is your body. And when I say circuit, I'm being very intentional about that word, because we have to remember that we are electrical beings. Magnesium is an electrolyte, which basically just means that as an element, when it's dissolved into water, it breaks down into charged particles called ions, which allow it to conduct electricity. Some of the main electrolytes in body fluid you will have definitely heard. These are potassium, calcium, magnesium, sodium, and chlorine. Oh, and phosphate. Now, this is really important because I want you to think about the fact that these elements allow your body to carry an electrical charge. And so without electrolytes, which are these charged minerals, right? Without that, our heart, our blood would not be able to carry electricity properly to actually allow for good nerve function, for muscle function, for proper nutrient absorption, and for a regular heartbeat. And we know already that our body is mostly water, but water without electrolytes is like a sky without wind. There's no movement, no communication, no charge. You would essentially be somewhat lifeless, right? And so that was a long train of deep diving to bring us back to this concept of the cosmic flower, right? This core from which we pour out our magnificence out into the world. It is a remembrance of home, but beyond that, it is an electrical remembrance of home. It is this first energetic impulse, the first sound, the first vibration, the first impulse, the first heartbeat of the universe that has brought us to where we are. And I can't even describe for you, because I can't even myself truly quantify the amount of energy that has just fractaled into what we are, into what our cells are, into what this earth is, and beyond that, what our solar system is, what our universe is, our galaxy, our Milky Way galaxy, and the larger cosmic web that we share with the entire universe. It's all electric. It's all impulse. It is all, dare I say, intelligent. So when I see this resonance of the cosmic flower with the heart chakra, with it so beautifully in the center, the third eye chakra being this space where we are able to do the impossible, which is attempt to quantify, or not so much quantify, but step out of this single frame and go beyond into this history of the universe, beyond into imagining and visualizing this frequency, this energy, right? The third eye is more than just what supports our intuition. and our imagination and our psychic powers. It is the master of visualization. It is a part of genius that allows us to penetrate things beyond their physical adaptation. So, do you dare to integrate that resonance, to integrate this awareness, this higher mindedness, this ability to perceive beyond the sensible? But now, let's bring ourselves back to the beginning of this reading, which was this energy of the divine masculine. He's like staring at me, just waiting to be brought into this conversation somehow. And honestly, it's a little bit, it's interesting because it's a little bit confusing to me. And I love to be confused because that means that there's a mystery here. There's something to poke and prod and find a closeness to. I'm remembering my yogi wisdom for today. And actually, I have 2 tea bags here, and get this. The other one says, the heart sees deeper than the eye. Exactly what we were just talking about. But to come back to this other card, this other little tag from my tea bag, we all want to be understood, to be acknowledged, to be loved. What I'm feeling from this divine masculine, who I already described as potentially feeling a little bit left out or neglected, is that the divine masculine needs a different scope of understanding. With the divine masculine card here, we have the energy and the resonance of allowance. So the frequency of allowance invites us to be open to whatever comes our way, without judgment, without opinion, without fear, and without resistance. When we allow, the universe becomes our partner in the wondrous dance of existence and expansion. And it's the divine masculine, the frequency of divine masculine, who supports our strong, focused, and active side, allowing it to express itself while helping us to bring our dreams and ideas into form with kindness and wisdom. Now, if you have ever heard the term divine masculine, I don't want to assume, but I can imagine that it was probably in some reading or description of, union. A lot of mystics use the term divine masculine when describing the human being and describing these, 2 aspects of ourself, divine masculine, divine feminine, or as well use it when they're describing potentially for a feminine, a counterpart, right? We hear a lot, the divine masculine is coming to the divine feminine and, seeking union and yada, yada, yada. So I want us to shift from this perspective and to understand these energies of divine masculine, divine feminine as more intangible energies that represent 2 aspects of the same singularity. So we can think of Taoist philosophy, and many of us have seen this yin and yang symbol. The proper term for that, I believe, is the Taijitu. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but it's used in Taoist and Chinese cosmological texts and Taoist philosophy to represent that balance of the dualities of our universe, the dualities of existence, the dark and the light, which translates as the passive and the active, or the feminine and masculine, right? Internal, external, cold, hot, whatever. So let's come back to the fundamental energetic principles of these terms, feminine and masculine. The yang, the masculine principle, holds the sect of the day. It embodies the energy of action, of growth, of fire and output, right? Going out, energy going out. So that is energy that is bright or expressive. It also has the signifiers of being warm and dry. as opposed to the feminine principle, which is cool and moist and inward, receptive. It's softer. It is in the sect of the night. It is associated with that stillness, with water, with gestation, with hidden mysteries, with the hidden, because it's also associated with the dark, right? So when you hear somebody talking about themselves being in the divine masculine, or, really, if you want to use the gendered principles, feeling like they are more in tune with their masculine side, a lot of the times what they're getting at is that they are more in tune with this outward expressive aspect. They might find themselves to be more confident, or, at least much more exacting when it comes to certain situations. They may be a little bit more outspoken, and even if they're wrong, it doesn't matter if they're wrong or right. It is that principle of being outspoken, of being outward. The reason I think that we see these concepts also associated with the gendered terms is because they are biological in nature. It's very easy to look at the two poles of the human being, which is the male and the female, and to see even the biological makeup of males, and their protruding penis versus the inverted womb and the vagina, right? And also understanding that gestation happens within the womb, within a female's body, where it is dark, and even though it's not necessarily cold, it is the receiver of what is the masculine energy, that force, that sperm, that ejaculation, right? The external protruded phallus, right? And this was very common to see in ancient art, when you would see an ithyphallic man or deity. The reason for portraying somebody with an erect penis was likely used to describe fertility or to represent fertility. And I find that interesting because in some ways, I think in modern terms, the divine masculine has been flattened, you could say, or has been told to tuck its penis between its legs, right? To tuck that tail between its legs, because of how men have abused their power, right? But previously, there might have been more of this awareness or veneration of what the man represented to women and to life and to fertility, right? It's funny to associate this concept of the man with fertility, because I have only really ever heard people relate the feminine to fertility. But it is the sperm that activates the egg's development process in a female. So sperm is essential, as we know. It's essential to fertility. It is what holds, of course, 50% of the genetic information. I think that's such a beautiful thing. Just implantation and progeneration. Also, funny fact, it is the sperm that ultimately determines the gender of a baby, or rather the sex. Because an egg always carries an X chromosome, while it's the sperm cell that can either carry an X or Y chromosome. So let's think about this. Think about how amazing this is, because I have often thought that it was the woman. It is the woman's body who is the I guess you could say, the first entity, right? This may be why so many people believe that it's actually, the man who holds the power of both. And I have heard that. I don't remember where I heard somebody more recently talking about, I think it was at a Gnostic mass, actually, where they were speaking about how it's the man who holds. The man is the woman cloaked in this male form. And I found that really interesting, because there was a part of me that was ready to disagree, as it was my interpretation of the woman actually being the one who holds the frequency or the energy of both of these entities. But it makes sense that a woman the egg only carries the X chromosome, and it's actually the sperm cell, the sperm, which is produced in the male's body, that carries the X and Y chromosome. So that's funny. And so here we are with the divine masculine and this also energy of allowance. And if you could see these cards, the divine masculine is represented by a series of like diamonds and triangles and a square. So it's these hard edges, right? While the energy of allowance that sits right next to it is all soft, smooth edges. It is circles. Like I said, it invites us to be open to whatever comes our way. It's giving me this portal, the essence of the portal of the womb, right? These circles being feminine in nature, whereas these hard edges being masculine in nature, if you wish to describe it that way. And so it's interesting. It seems, especially with the current of at least the United States nowadays, I know that there has been a strong push against men and masculinity, again, because it has been abused, right? It has not left us with this feeling of trust in the masculine. And that is, for very good cause and with very good reason. Before I even sat down to record today, which again, I'm so happy I'm doing this with you guys. Thank you for being here. I love all of you. There was a song in my head, and I didn't even know the song, but actually I believe it was a poem. I can't remember. I think it was written by a famous Black woman, and it's something like "Where Have All the Crawdads Gone" or something. I don't know. Oh, where the crawdads sing. And it's not a poem, but it's actually a book. And I'm looking at this, and it's not a Black woman at all. So I don't think this is what I was talking about, because this is a murder mystery. So anyway, besides the point. But when I was looking it up, I actually saw that there's a song called "Where Have All the Cowboys Gone?" And that's funny because I think that's kind of what and this is not everybody, right? But where have all the cowboys gone? Where is my John Wayne? Where is my Prairie Song? Where is my happy ending? Where have all the cowboys gone? Where's my Marlboro Man? Where his shiny gun? Where is my lonely ranger? Yippee-yi-yay! Where have all the cowboys gone? It's a song. I haven't listened to it. I bet you it's a country song. It's what it sounds like. But this woman is singing about, kind of, I guess she's reminiscing about like old Western past where she could raise the children. If the man pays the bills, she'll fold the laundry. If you pay the bills, yada, yada, yada. Right? So that's interesting. There could be this general energy of feminine and femininity, just feeling a little bit tired and exhausted by the divine masculine. But here the divine masculine is showing up and asking for a chance to influence. And I want to say, no wonder it's a little bit of a scary thing, because you realize that you are influencing the world. And so you have to be mindful and careful about how it is that you're putting your energy out there, right? I'm seeing the image too of like some like deadbeat dads and women who, get, no offense, knocked up by these deadbeat fathers, deadbeat sperm donors who really don't have much going for them, not just financially, but like their literacy, their emotional literacy is poor. They just are not intelligent, or at least not aligning with their intelligence in a very professional manner, I guess you could say. It's not professional, but I mean more so like you're not holding yourself accountable enough, dude. And so it's like we've cut off this chain or this connectivity for the divine masculine to influence and to create and to, fertilize the womb, to fertilize the divine feminine. Now, this is a funny conversation. So I hope you're still with me. I will say as well, though, that I think this is affecting a lot of masculines, affecting a lot of men. And even if you're not a man, I think that, again, this energy that exists in us, which is the energy of action, of doing, of moving with creativity and putting out onto the world, it's that energy of again, like using a stick and kind of like moving through the world, tapping and touching things and like navigating the world, charting the world, pioneering in the world. And this aspect of us is a little wounded right now. And I think that it's learning, it is being forced to learn how to do that better. I'm seeing, for my tarot junkies out there, Three of Swords, Knight of Discs, Seven of Discs. The Knight of Discs is being pictured as somebody who is actively, who has all of, and the discs here are kind of, what's the word for this? Gears. They're gears. So the discs are represented by these gears in this particular deck. This is the Tarot del Toro. And this Knight of Discs is being shown as, of course, this wooden creature with all of these gears within him that are exposed and that are working properly. So this is the well-formed man or the well-formed creature. And with the Seven of Discs, we see that there is, of course, the Seven of Discs brings up this theme of patience. But patience because we have set something into order. We have set something on its path. And now we are waiting for that gestation, essentially. It's waiting for this thing to produce fruit or to reach a destination. It's methodical. It's practical. Okay? It's about patience. The Pentacles card, of course, are Earth, right? And Earth is slow. It is the slow, hard-working effort that takes responsibility, that depends on you being committed to something. Okay, and this could also be relevant for like self-work and self-mastery. The Three of Swords is like a knife to the chest. It is, receiving information that it's kind of crippling. It's crippling, essentially. But here with the Knight of Swords, with the Knight of Pentacles and the Seven of Pentacles, there is a rehabilitation in effect. And you know what this is making me think of, you guys, is that, especially because we already talked about the third eye and the cosmic flower and this imagination or this ability to see beyond what is the physical. And then we have these very physical cards here. It's making me feel that we should not necessarily be looking to physical representations of the divine masculine as potential suitors for our creative expectations or our burgeoning creative pursuits, but more so looking to the energetic frequency of the divine masculine and finding the source that is going to best suit your cosmic flower to bloom. Okay, and I'm not saying get pregnant, although, hey, I hear you. Do what you will, etc. But more so, again, settling into what does that energy feel like? What do you want? Because the divine masculine ultimately beyond, the ego, the divine masculine, or maybe I should say this, we'll say the light energy, right? This yang energy. It is powerful. It may be a little bit forceful, but just like the sun, it offers potential. It offers fervent fertility and creativity and can actualize and push your goals into being, right? So I am feeling that here we have something in gestation, or potentially we have an egg, right, that we want to see grow. And so this is a perfect time to call upon that active force, to call upon that light force, that solar energy, and to find the proper expression of that energy that you want to integrate into your life and into your destiny, into your goals. Because I feel as though the physical form that takes is undergoing a little bit of rehabilitation right now, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I'm not looking to the physical. I'm not looking to a physical masculine or looking to a person to help fulfill that. But more so, I'm gonna be leaning my ear into the energy of that active force. And that's why we're seeing this allowance card next to the divine masculine. It's as though this energy wants to come in and, again, fertilize this goal that you have, but you have to be willing to trust. And right now, I know that so many of us are not willing to trust the masculine energy altogether right now, which is why we're peeling this back and coming back to the source. Yeah. Ace of Wands is here at the very bottom of the deck. The Ace of Wands originally representing, first of all, the original. It is the first spark of life. So when this card comes up, it to us represents a new phase in life. It represents creative potential, new beginnings, initiative, something taking off. It is just the energy, like, again, that spark of potential. And there's a reason that we have these polarities as well. It's not necessarily in your duty to represent both the sperm and the egg, right? It's not your job to be all and everything or to control all of these elements, right? To be both the actor and the receiver. And so I see us more so in this space of receiving. I have the Six of Cups here. This is about softening the heart, going back to that place of remembrance, right? The place that we call home, tuning in more to the subtle energy, into the electrical energy, the frequency of the heart, the frequency of longing and our passion, and finding that at a very fundamental energy while remaining in a stature of peace, while remaining somewhat not guarded but protected. Now, to close off the reading, Spirit is coming through with some very strong influences of earth wisdom, natural wisdom, leaning into everything that I just said, which defines natural wisdom and earthly wisdom. You may find yourself getting a lot from books, from texts, but also just using your own divine senses. This is going to feel confusing, and this is not the moment to really try to pick everything apart and understand it in a very logical manner. This moment just being whenever this finds you, if this is coming to you at a time where you are facing a particular personal problem or just in your natural everyday musings, there is an alchemical process of transformation happening here that is working with both the light and the dark. The divine feminine is well highlighted here as a very mature aspect of this current time, and it's the light energy, the divine masculine, who is here learning this process of alchemy. So again, keep your ear out to that wisdom, keep your ear out for that sense of life. Where do you feel, and in what circumstances, with whom, but specifically what about these experiences with people are giving you that sense of potential? For the divine masculine, the final message here for you is the stone, which as an archetypal object, the stone holds psychic and literal weight. Its energy is one of permanence, concreteness, and reliability. The stone's ability to transform is nearly imperceptible to us as it changes ever so slowly over countless human lifespans. Remember that Knight of Pentacles with the Seven of Pentacles, slow, very slow process of physical transformation. A single stone may see thousands of generations come and go. Therefore, it contains an ancient and eternal presence. The stone is best used to anchor our wild side. So no matter how far we roam, we can always find our way back. The stone tethers us to earth, helping to ground and connect us to stillness, quiet, and peace. When this card appears, it is likely the stone is a remedy for what ails us. Humble and easily unnoticed, the power of the stone balances the frenzy of our world. With this, I can't help but think about our discussion about the element magnesium and how it balances this frenzy, and how it is a cure, in some manner of speak, to anxiety and nervous system wildness, nervous system asymmetry. The picture of this card as well is very symbolic of everything that we've discussed. We have several circles in the forefront. The stone itself is somewhat of an oval, and it's surrounded by a circle, which is surrounded in the background of a black box, who itself is within a larger triangle or pyramid. So representing these elements of feminine form in unification with physical form, creating this symmetry. It reads that in Jewish mourning traditions, stones are left at graves rather than flowers. Sit with this vision for a moment and see what unfolds. So this process of transformation for the masculine energy, again, is one very slow. And again, not only speaking about men, but specifically to this energy within us, where we are attempting to put our creativity out there, where we are attempting to fertilize some new growth with some potential. So sit with this energy, lean that ear to the earth, right? Take your time in truly understanding, and not even understanding again in a logical sense, but finding a resonance, this deeper resonance with not only this energy of force and light, but of the energy of the body who carries it. Now, when we come to the divine feminine, things get a little bit more complicated. We start here with the card and the energy of the archetypal storm. In this card deck, the storm sequentially follows the womb card. And I'll read the womb card just because I believe it is relevant here today. Everything has an origin story. The womb archetype asks us to contemplate the beginning beyond the beginning, the mother beyond the mother. In a world that often negates the power and necessity of feminine principles, this card returns us to the warmth, tenderness, and sacred intelligence from which we came. It's a card of receiving, not achieving, of accepting love from the mother of us all. She is the life-giving force that forgives and cherishes even the most wounded and disparate soul. No matter how lost you are, the womb awaits your return to help you heal and grow. Again, I'm thinking about that cosmic flower, that remembrance of home. This card is a call to keep things simple, to return, to be reborn in the name of love. The womb is everywhere. It is beyond gender, beyond time. We are within it, as it is within us. And here we are shown the next card, which is the storm, the chaos, the whirlwind, the disorder. Possessing an energy much like the tarot's tower, the storm undoes all that is. Everything that was solid, known, and relied upon is stripped away by the winds of fate. The ground becomes the sky becomes the center, and then the center disappears. The storm is a great equalizer. No matter how far we've come on the path, no matter our age, wealth, or wisdom, we can't hide from its savage winds. Their disturbing howls stir anxiety and make it impossible to see and think straight. You must wait it out. If you try to fight the storm, you will lose. A better option is to seek temporary shelter and a reliable friend. When all else fails, go within. There, for a moment, you settle into the eye of the storm. So this card is about meaningful obliteration and annihilation. The storm lays bare the truth that there are forces larger than you, This understanding is a relief, but also a predicament of power that requires your surrender. Next, I want us to read the threshold because this will tie directly to the energy of the divine masculine. And mind you, in this card deck, the threshold is sequenced right before the womb card. The door, the gate, the initiation. And before I even read this is where the divine masculine is going to be moving its force to. This is where the divine masculine's energy is influencing yours right now, as for the divine feminine. We cross thresholds continually, consciously and unconsciously. Doorways, gates, and entryways grace our path on a daily basis. When this card arises, it signifies that the precipice you stand upon is not your typical one, however. You have arrived at a threshold of initiation, here to usher you into a new reality. It requires you to leave behind the you that you thought was so well formed. A new frontier calls. This is not easy work. Threshold initiation means a part of you will be lost in order to make space for what is next. A metaphorical death must occur. Some may not recognize you. You may struggle to recognize yourself. The ground seems to crumble as you free fall into your new reality. This is the liminal realm. One step, dear friend. Just take that one necessary step toward the future that calls you. And this is about growth, individuation, and ease into the liminal. Sometimes we are thrown across the boundary through circumstances far beyond our control. Either way, we cannot go back. As you see, there is a clear threshold for us between who we thought we were, what we thought we were, what we thought we were doing, and the new that beckons us. And this new is coming from the divine masculine force, from this light, from this potential, from this action potential. And that's where the card allowance was coming through. The divine masculine wanting to be received by you, or more so, the divine feminine wanting you to allow for this upcoming influence, for this upcoming energy, because that is what is going to push you into this cosmic flower energy, into this heart-opening, unwinding, and opening up to the greater spirit, the greater cosmic energies, the greater energies of yourself. I have here as well 2 more cards. The first is the card of the mask. All of those which have been read so far have been upright. And then the next card for the feminine that came out was the Hunter. And this is card number 9, and this came out reversed. So we will start with the card of the mask. The mask, the persona, the performance, the reveal. We often think of a mask as something that conceals our identity, yet contemplate the possibility that the mask permits our true identity to be revealed. It allows. The mask gives voice to that which was previously rejected. When this card appears, enact the side of you that is seeking expression, yet was never given a role to play on the stage of your life. You are in the realm of theater, so anything is possible. Speak with the capital others voice. Embody the others limbs. You are taking part in the ritual of expanding the self. There may be mischief and deception around, and others may be trying on new masks too. No one is sure who is who. It's likely that you've become so attached to a single mask that you need to fall face forward into this perception-bending time. Trust it. Think of a mask or a costume you wore that felt empowering, marvelous, or fun. Who was it you were being? Is that who still within you? And before I give my interpretation, the last card we are here to read is the card of the hunter. The seeker, the pursuer, the predator. The hunter hunts. They are on a precise mission with an aim. To return home empty-handed would be to fail, which is not an option in the hunter's eyes. This archetype will journey far and wide, seeking the prize that calls to its heart or stomach. Tales of bravery and feats of strength often result, creating a life full of adventure. The hunter is skillful, quick, decisive, and results-oriented. Like the great hunting goddess Artemis, who carries her quiver upon her back, the hunter typically has a weapon of choice. When this card appears, it is critical that you ask 3 questions. What am I hunting? Why am I hunting it? Is the weapon I hold so tightly in my grip truly needed for the task at hand? So, with these energies, and specifically seeing this hunter reversed beneath the storm, with the divine masculine energy already being incorporated, for the divine feminine, we must surrender this pursuit. We must surrender whatever pursuit of an identity, pursuit of a persona that we have taken on. This is more so about allowing yourself to be in a space of receiving. And remember, I already said that we are not meant to figure this out logically. If you are speaking about a process of allowing and a process of integration, you do not force that process to become. It is like gravity. It is like magnetism. You must allow the pieces to come together. And again, this divine masculine energy will come when you need it, and when you are prepared to allow yourself to receive it. I can't say what that will look like for you, but I can feel that the energy is one of abundance, of joy, of a blooming flower, of life, of divine architecture. So this to me is incredibly powerful and very beautiful, and I am so grateful that I was able to share this message with this beautiful collective that you are today. To summarize all of this up and to go back to where we started with the pursuit of the mystery, with being entangled in the mystery, with Gnosis. And I knew that this was going to unravel as a conversation of the divine feminine. I may have mentioned Jupiter in Cancer once. But to bring that up again, Cancer, although it is a cardinal sign, Cancer is a water sign. It is a feminine water sign. When you're speaking about water, you're talking about the temperament of cold and moist, especially when speaking about Cancer. In relation to the 4 humors, Cancer's alchemical humor is phlegm. It's associated with the phlegmatic temperament. Phlegm governs our fluids, so think mucus, the lymph fluid, our digestive processes, and especially our emotional regulation. Cancer as a sign as well is linked to our restorative cycles, to rebuilding, reconstitution, to cleansing and purification, but more so the active process of purification and lubrication and growth and protection. Mucus is what protects us from the harsher particulate matter of our atmosphere. So when we talk about Jupiter in Cancer, Jupiter opens this door and holds space for and expands the space of the Cancerian temple, of this place in which we are invited to spend time and to lend our beautiful attention to the feminine, to the body's restorative cycles, to the body's restorative processes. And Cancer as well is quite a communal sign. It is a sign that allows us to find harmony with people. Cancer is a place where we can go to the heart of a topic or of a subject. Cancer is also a place where quiet growth is indicated. This is the subtle changes. These are subtle changes that we would see. And also potentially learning and accessing deeper truths from our emotional bodies, from our intuition. Cancer is a highly intuitive sign because it can pick up on those subtle changes in people, in the environment, etc. Beyond mentioning Jupiter in Cancer, I spoke briefly about the energies of the heart, of our electromagnetic field, and I related that to the impulses, the larger electrical impulses of our universe. And I taught you guys how to deeply integrate what you are as an energized being with what the earth is and what the earth provides you. Briefly, I discussed that. There was also a lot of information that I gave you about magnesium, about charged elements, or at least electrolytes. And that may be a strong message for somebody to really start focusing on the supplements that they're taking, to make changes in their diet and nutrition. If you find that your energy field is a little bit low, you probably need more minerals, trace minerals, and elements, like these ionic elements in your body. This was specifically relevant because it showed us the relationship between what lives in the earth, the electrical charges of these minerals in the earth, because everything we have, we get from the earth. It's not as noticeable in the way that modern society works, but please remember that. We spoke as well of the cosmic flower, this remembrance. We spoke of the third eye chakra, of being able to penetrate that which is physical, or being able to go beyond that which is physical. And that was when we finally shifted into speaking of the divine masculine, speaking of how the divine masculine represents this light energy, represents that which gives fire and fertility to the darkness, that which throws its light out into the darkness to expand and progenerate. But most of all, I think the most important takeaway from this is how we are learning to balance and to be silent, to be still, to put our ears to the ground, or our ears to the wind, our ears to our bodies, and to give reverence to these processes that are happening with or without our intention, with or without our awareness or our influence. And so it's important to harmonize yourself with that. And whatever side of the frequencies that you find yourself falling into, whether that's light, dark, somewhere in between, somewhere on the way to, this is the message. This is what I saw, and this is what I wanted to share with you. And I just thank you for being a part of this with me, for lending your ear to this divine word and wizardry, if you must. And remember again, it is not all in your control, but you can learn, and you are learning, how to find your resonance with what is, what can be. I love you guys. I hope this made sense. I hope this was fun. And I cannot wait to talk to you again. I hope you have an absolutely beautiful day. I want to take this time to thank my energy, my guides, my cells, my brain, my mind, to thank your minds, your energy, your cells, to thank our earth, the sun, the processes, the soil, the water, the animals, the electricity, the universe, our momentum, our gravity, and to just say a big, bright, radiant thank you to all of it. I hope you have a magical and mysterious day, and I will see you in the next one.